Holy is our God. You are my Father. You are my Savior. You have restored me. Now I belong to you. When I was lost, Lord, mercy found me. Now I am yours, Lord. I belong to you. Our dominion belongs to you, Lord. All of creation will bow before you. You are my Father. You are my Savior. You have restored me. Now I belong to you. And I is mine. Your grace is serving. Life is yours, Lord. I belong to you. You are my Father, you are my Savior. You have restored me, now I belong to you. When I was lost, your mercy found me. Now I am yours, Lord. I belong to you. I belong to you. I belong to you. I belong to glory and honor belongs to you, Lord. Heaven and earth shout, holy is our God. You are my Father, you are my Savior. You have restored me, now I belong to you. When I was lost, Lord, mercy found me. Now I am yours, Lord. I belong to you. Our dominion belongs to you, Lord. All of creation will bow before you. You are my Father, you are my Savior. You have restored me, now I belong to you. The Lord is mine, your grace is serving. Life is yours, Lord. I belong to you. You are my savior. You have restored me. Now I belong to you. When I was lost, your mercy found me. Now I am yours, Lord. I belong to you. I belong to you. I belong to you. I belong to It's bucket list madness. And what then what? Oh. Glory and honor belongs to you, Lord. Heaven and earth shout, holy is our God. You are my Father, you are my Savior. You have restored me, now I belong to you. When I was lost, your mercy found me. Now I am yours, Lord. I belong to you. Power, dominion belongs to you, Lord. All of creation will bow before you. You are my Father, you are my Savior. You have restored me, now I belong to you. Your love is perfect, your grace is sufficient. I belong to you. You are my Father, you are my Savior. You have restored me, now I belong to you. When I was lost, your mercy found me. Now I am yours, Lord. I belong to you. I belong to you. I belong to you. I belong to you. Virtual classroom training is a home base.
Good evening. Welcome to this edition once again, where we anticipate to talk more of the current affairs on the ground, and I hope you are ready tonight. I am ready. Good evening, it's Chance, and in a very, very special way, let me welcome you to this wonderful or special edition, because normally I come on Friday where we're talking God, politics, everything about what must happen and what is happening so far. Today is very interesting because we're going to be talking the issues that are happening right now before Malawi votes tomorrow. This is dedicated tonight to talk about certain things that are happening tomorrow. But before that, we're going to go back into what we discussed last weekend, which is on Friday. And we're going to revisit certain things that we spoke about. And one of the things we were talking about is women empowerment, and have we done enough to empower women? And tonight I'll be joined by Mrs. Tikala Chimpango, who's a good friend of mine, a lady lawyer, I should say, because the husband is a practicing lawyer. And we should be joined by Dr. Chimpango himself. Also, we should also be joined tonight by one of the voices, one of the ladies that I know has had impact over the diaspora Malawian community. She, in her own capacity, I'll be introducing them slowly as they pop in. But right now, let me just bring to the front. Let me bring to the front Mrs. Chimpango, or I think I haven't added her. Let me add you to the. Good evening and welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can. A little bit of lagging, but I can still hear you.
Yes. Hi. Good evening, everybody.
How was your day today?
Oh, my day has been good. Good, thinking about Malawi and the elections tomorrow. Yeah, so excited. How has been yours, Pastor?
Definite. Mine has been good. Like you said, I think, you know what? My mind is supposed to be resting, but it hasn't rested all day. That's the case. So I'm tonight, I'm really looking forward where, to some extent, my mind is offloaded, and then I can be at peace expecting something, good tomorrow happening. There's so many issues we're going to tackle tonight. But before we tackle all these issues, I'm going to give you a platform to say, like we began to say last week, have we done enough to talk about women in politics and empower women in the government systems? Have we done enough? One of the things that I really want to hear you say is an honest opinion about this issue from you as a lady. Malawi in general, or maybe you can even, tackle the world. Have we done enough to empower women, be it in politics and government, in whatever capacity that they must serve? Have we done enough, you think?
I think from what we talked about last week, and I think from the views of some of the people that were on the panel, I think we said, and I think we came to a conclusion that I think a lot still needs to be done. There have been some steps that have been taken to empower, but also to give room to women to participate in higher offices, especially in politics. We're talking about politics now, in politics. And now when I'm thinking about Malawi, there have been women in Malawi who have been actively participating and contributing to who we are as a nation now, from way back, where you had the first woman on Kamuzu's, cabinet, Miss Chiwambo. Right. But I think from where we are coming from the time we got independence in 1964, and today is 2020, I would have loved to see a lot of women represented in cabinet, even to have like 50-50, I think it doesn't harm anybody. It doesn't harm anybody if we can have a cabinet where you have 50% being a representation of women and 50% coming from men. I think that would be a positive and a good direction for our country to take. But saying that, I'm not negating what we have done as a country. As I said last week, we have the speaker at the moment who is a lady and who is doing quite a good job at being a speaker, at being the person in charge of parliament. So she's doing a great job, and that just shows what women can do if they're given room, but also encouraged to participate and to take an active role in government. And we talked last week as well about the former president, Joyce Banda, that it was good that we had a female president. And as a nation, we need to see more women contesting for the position of presidents. If it would have been nice now that we have 3 presidents, if one of them, 3 candidates aspiring to be a president maybe on Wednesday or Thursday, if one of them was a woman, it would have been nice. We are living in the 20th century. It would be nice to have a woman aspiring to be a president and to be on the ballot papers as well. So as a nation, we are moving towards the right direction, but I think we need to do more. And as I said last week, I think it needs to happen in our homes. Those that are raising girls, they need to tell those girls from a tender age to dream, but also to aspire and to pursue their dreams wholeheartedly and believe and trust God that they can be what they want to be. And that the world is a level playing field where whether you're a man or a woman, as long as you strive and you're working towards your dreams, you can become that. So, yes. And I think one of the points I really wanted to say again last week was, I think men needed to understand that women are not competitors. We needed to work hand in hand. And we are talking of Malawi now. We need both male and females to work together to build the nation. And to realize that.
Sorry, I like that fact or that point you just said. We are not competitors.
No.
Can you say that again? Say it again. Hammer that point. Women are not competitors. What do you mean by that?
We are not. Yes, but we are in Malawi. In this case, I'll say we are co-builders of our nation. We need to work together, male and female, to build our nation. So don't look at women as your competition. No. If there are women who are aspiring to be in government, support them, encourage them to be all that they can in politics, and let them contribute and bring something to the table. And I wanted to say something as well to the women, that we should not wait for men to open the door for us. If we feel like we are gifted in that area, we need to ask and be bold about it and not apologetic for who we've been created to be and what we've been given as a mission to do here on earth. And in this case, I'm talking about Malawi. So if somebody feels led to become the next president of Malawi, don't ask, because maybe nobody's going to open the door for you. Go for it and ask for it and be bold about it.
Good.
So I'm encouraging, especially women. I'm encouraging women, especially if they are passionate about changing and helping Malawi to develop in terms of politics. Go for it. Get involved in politics from primary level, and then you start building yourself up, rising up through the ranks, and who knows, maybe in the next 5 years, 10 years, we'll have the next president as a woman.
As a woman.
A woman president, yes, in Malawi. Yeah.
I want to agree with you, and I want to, listen, this is not just trying to sugarcoat, but I think it is important to understand that, God can use anybody, and this is about calling. God can use anybody.
Yes.
He can use a Deborah. And also we need to acknowledge the fact, the reason we're talking about this more is about the percentage of women that are in higher positions. I think compared to the men in higher positions, you will discover that we've got very few of women that are operating at the top level, and I think we have, here's one thing that, don't you think, if I may ask that question, don't you think that to some extent, I think when a man messes up, the world seems to forgive easily. I'm talking in terms of politics. Forget about in the homes and all that. But when a man messes up in politics, they easily accept mistakes happen, blah blah, and then, especially in Africa, we have recycled politicians who probably they need to sit down. But when a woman messes up, the sticks that comes in is, she's a woman. She ain't supposed to be doing this, blah blah blah. What is your view? I mean, this is just me thinking about this. Don't you think that men seem to be forgiven easily, and women seems to be pushed aside just because she didn't do right? That's it. Women can't be like this. Don't you think that's the scenario and the environment so far?
That is true, and I think last week was it Dr. Longways. I think when he was answering this question, he tackled the cultural part of who we are as a people now. That I think most of it stems from our traditions and beliefs of the role that women have to hold in society. Because as you've rightly said, and I'm going to talk about not only in politics, but also in general in life, if a woman messes up, people tend to not forgive, and if they do, it takes people a long time to do that. Worse if a man does almost the same thing or similar to what the woman has done, men are let off easily. And the question is, why do we do that? Why do we victimize women more? And maybe this is another reason why women are afraid to venture into fields that they know they want to, but when they think about, if I fail, what will happen to me? What will happen to my reputation as a woman? I think there's a lot that women sacrifice if they want to go and venture into such fields. So, for example, in Malawi, we had the first lady president, Dr. Joyce Banda. A lot of people said a lot of things about her presidency, that the 2 years that Dr. Joyce Banda was president, people said a lot of things, and people were unforgiving to her. It was because she was a woman. If it was a man, people would have easily forgiven her. And even up to now, if anybody say somebody wants to become a president, people are going to bring back what happened during Dr. Joyce Banda's reign and try to say, no, we tried with one woman and this is what happened to the country. That means all women are going to do the same, which is not the case.
Which is not the case.
And I feel like as a nation, it's not the case. And I feel as a nation, we need to start looking at women differently, that each and every woman is unique and they bring something to the table. And we need to support more women as well to get into politics. And even if they have higher ambitions of running the country, let's just support them. And be there for them. Offering them the encouragement that they need, inspire them, because we don't know. And what's coming to my mind now is the 2 women in the world now who are running countries. We have the Chancellor, Angela Merkel in Germany, and the lady in Zealand, a tremendous job being heads of state. They are doing quite tremendous role in being heads of state. So women can and will would do great at being leaders of nations. We need to give them the room to do so, to support them that they can do it. And political parties, MCP, UTM, DPP, we need to see more women in the executive in these parties in Malawi. So we need to see more and more women given positions of influence in the parties. Yeah.
I listen, I totally agree with you. And let me, before we continue, let me welcome. I'm happy that having to speak about the women in politics or in government, I'm surrounded now. I'm overpowered because I've got two women with me now. Let me welcome our very own sister in Lady Ellen Malilo, Mrs. Malilo, who is, before you speak, let's introduce you in the way with everything that you have, because what we're going to talk about tonight is concerning what you have studied. And so I want to welcome a well-qualified barrister for 18 years who has worked as a law lecturer for 7 years and a level 2 immigration advisor and a human rights specialist in our dear lady Ellen Tembo Malilo. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
What an honor for you just accept to come back to this platform so we can talk about the current affairs. And today, I really want you to educate us in that line again about the judiciary and the role that it plays in government setup, and the dividing lines, so we get to understand, because of the stuff that happened. Current, that there's that noise on the background in terms of what was happening and what there's tension a little bit. Anyhow, before we talk about that, Mrs. Chimpango was talking about the effect or the women factor in society in top positions. We're not just talking about the truth of the matter is that I think in church, I would say probably we've done a little bit more to understand that a woman can minister. There was that debate, should women minister or shouldn't. I think we've kind of addressed that to an extent. We've accepted it. We Pentecostals have no problem. You know what I'm talking about. We have no problem. A woman can minister and all that. But I think we're talking about, can we look up and say, she is the bishop, she is the woman in charge of this ministry. And we respect that. And that there's no line to it, because if God calls you, it doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a man. We have so many examples of the likes of Deborah in the Bible, whom God used, the likes of Esther, who actually saved Israel from the hands of Haman. So these are good examples that we can pick up from the Bible. But hey, have we done enough? And before we talk about the judiciary and all that, you had a bit of a bite into this last weekend. Do you think, because one of the things I said to Mrs. Chimpango was, I think when a woman sins in terms of the political arena, in the governmental setup, in the higher position, if a woman sins, we quickly push her down and we do not forgive easily. But when a man sins, it seems like it's bang on. Tomorrow he can come back recycled. We call him, it's okay. This is politics. And you know what? In fact, I should confess here, men are the ones that have made politics so dirty.
That's true.
Lady Ellen, come on in. What do you think? Of my allegations and all this ranting?
Well, yes. Well, I was listening to Tika. Tika, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I was listening to both of you talk about this, and you're asking, have we done enough as Malawi as a nation? And I think we're on the right track, but we haven't done enough, because surely it should be 50% representation of women. But we've come a very long way, and it's not just Malawi, because even here in the UK, the representation is not equal. But it is a journey, Gender equality is a continuing discussion. So, but we're on the right track, I would say. Like Tika was saying, we've had a lady president who's done a brilliant job. And with everything, you have pros and cons. You have things that they did well and they didn't do well. But when you look at, say, the banking sector, the economics of Malawi, in the judiciary, you see a lot of women now rising and in very high positions, but generally in other positions as well. So we may not have done enough as we should to represent a 50% equal share of the cake, but I think we're on the right track. But even in the world, Pastor Chance, how many women presidents do we have?
Yeah.
Not many. So it's
Not
something
many.
to talk about when we talk
Right.
about Jacinta, Ellen Sirleaf. It is something unique that we're talking about because they're representing now all over the world. But I
seem to have. I think I seem to have.
Yeah.
Ellen, I seem to have lost your voice a bit. Can you hear me? But I've lost you. I don't know what is happening, but I've lost you. Tikalena, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Right. Ellen.
I can hear you, Pastor.
One second, Ellen, can you unmute yourself? Or is it me? Hang on. For some reason, can't unmute. Yeah. Ellen, can you unmute yourself? Click on the mic again. You know that mic icon, Ellen? It could be to do probably with the laptop or the cursor is not working. But I think there was some points that I really wanted to hear again. It looks like you've muted yourself, Ellen. If you can hear me, you've just muted yourself, so you just need to unmute. Anyway,
I haven't.
There you go. There you go. No, you're back now. You're back now. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
I do not know what happened, but somehow it went on mute. But anyway, would you mind just repeating just what you say towards the end, because you started, we could hear, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, just cut you off. Can you just, just say it again?
So in answering your question about whether we've done enough to include women in politics, I'm saying I think Malawi has tried its best, but we may not have 50% representation, but I have seen a rise in women getting involved in all sectors of running Malawi. I'm saying that Malawi has raised a good number of alpha females who are really doing great, not just in the political arena, but in the economic sector, in the private sector. You see a lot of women who are holding very high positions and doing a brilliant job. So the world, even the whole world, we don't have many women presidents. And when we talk about them, it's just a few of them: Jacinta, Angela Merkel, Ellen Sirleaf. There's not many women presidents, but it's a journey. It's a journey, and I'm sure we'll get there as the world. But I think Malawi is doing brilliantly, but could do better. There could be more women, especially in the political arena.
Yeah, that's true.
Pastor Chan?
I'm still here, right? Okay, so thank you for answering that one. But let me see, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to connect Reverend Morris at the same time. So we can bring him on. I mean, he's available today, but he's having difficulty to come in. So I'm trying to engineer something at the same time. But the next topic that probably okay, so we are agreeing that there's a light somewhere, isn't it? I think let's put it that way. There's a light somewhere.
Yeah.
There is.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
And but then we want to see, what we're saying is we want to see more of it. We want to see.
And there are women. Some women are playing in the background, playing very important roles, supporting the men who are in high position.
Right.
I'll give you an example, if I may. You see ladies like Honorable Kumbize Kandodo. She's the MP where I come from. You may not see a lot of her in the front, speaking on podiums and all that, but she does a lot of work in the party, around the president and all the people there. But I know for a fact that she does a lot of work in our constituency. When there's a funeral, she's running over there and buying coffins for the constituents, doing a lot of work for the constituents. But you never get to hear a lot about these women who are on a day-to-day running politics from behind the scenes. And she's not the only one. There's quite a few, but I'm just giving you an example because she's my MP. So a lot of women really.
So
go ahead, Tika.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I think, there are a lot of women that have come to the fore in terms of joining politics, whether they are serving as councillors, whether they are serving as MPs. And as I said, we have a ladies' nation. We need to encourage those that are gifted in that area and they want to venture into politics. Let us give them room to do that. But also those who feel strongly they want to get involved in politics, they should feel not ashamed that that's their desire, that's their passion. And that there is life, even in politics. You can do politics which is just and right. They don't have to fear it, to say, no, politics is dirty game. No. If one wants to get into politics because they want to save people in their constituents, or they want to save the country at large, let them do so. And as men, let us support those women who have taken that step to join politics.
Have it. That is very. I tell you what, that is very powerful. Today I was talking to a friend of mine who tells me that one lady has gone to Malawi. Under this COVID lockdown, I gave up. I wanted to go out and be there tomorrow. I wanted to be one of the monitors. I was looking forward to it. But listen to this. I'm going to shock you. One lady has bought a ticket. Guess how much? Have a guess.
Yes, she has. Yes.
£2,200. One ticket.
About $2,000 are here.
Yeah.
Imagine.
On a chartered flight.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine. And I was like, what? That is passion, isn't it? That is passion.
Yes. And you know what, Pastor? That's
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ellen.
No, what I was going to say was I had a friend.
Okay, and I wanted to say that's something.
Okay, so let's start with Ellen. Tika, let's go with Ellen. Go ahead, Ellen.
Okay, sorry, Tika, the voices are overlapping.
Go ahead.
A friend of mine said to me, I've spoken to two people in the last 2 days. One of them said to me, "Oh my God, what's happening in Malawi tomorrow? The whole world, our eyes are on Malawi tomorrow." And I said to him, "Why?" They said, "Oh, you know what's happened in your country is setting a trend and a pace for all the other countries in Africa, not just in Africa, but everyone's looking in from the outside. What's going to happen? Because what the judiciary have done in Malawi is not something easy." My friend was telling me that he comes from a Western African country, and he was saying to me that he thinks judges were very bold not to take the bribes that they were offered and to allow these elections to be happening tomorrow. So all eyes are on Malawi. So that lady who bought that ticket for £2,000, I don't blame her. If I was in a position to do so, I would have done the same. What's happening in Malawi is exciting everybody. Tomorrow will mark a new dawn, a new beginning. And I had another friend say to me, I'm just looking forward to tomorrow. Whatever happens after tomorrow, things would have changed. Malawi will never be the same again. And she was saying, when she goes to Malawi, she's tired of people taking her around. "Oh, I've got this project here, I've got that project there, I'm building here, building there." And then you think to yourself, what kind of salary is this person on in the government?
Exactly.
Now, that's only available, an economy that's just running a month, maybe 7 to 10% of the population, when 90% live in the rural areas in the country. They're the ones who vote, and they're the ones living in abstract poverty. And
In poverty lines.
yes, and just about 7 or 10% of the cream of society are the ones who are living these lives. Some of them have worked hard for it. You give them credit for it. But those who have got there through corruption at the expense of the electorate, the poor people voting in the villages, it's not right. And so tomorrow is giving hope that a new Malawi is emerging. A Malawi where anyone and everyone can have equal opportunity to do these things that this lady was talking about. That she goes to Malawi and people are showing off to her what they're doing. And she says, I don't even want to go to Malawi because I'm ashamed. Everybody's doing this, doing that, and you can't even tell where they're getting the money from. Now, that kind of thing, hopefully, will be history after tomorrow.
Come on.
Yeah.
Listen, this is getting better. And before you come in and say something, let me welcome the MCP Diaspora Communications Director in our man Chalom Vula or Benton Vula.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Charles Montali. I don't know if you can hear me. Thanks very much.
Very well. Yes, very loud and clear.
It's good to be part of this a wonderful forum, and I'm looking forward to it.
Perfect. Before you come in, Tika, before you say something, let me welcome the man I've been trying to connect all this while. Finally, I've got him. We got the very Reverend Maurice Montali with us. It's exciting to see you.
Hello there.
Very well.
Hello, everybody. Is everybody hearing me?
Yes.
We can hear you, yeah.
Yes, we can.
Hi.
Right. So anyway, Reverend Maurice, before you even say a word, I want you to know it's a privilege and an honor for me and for us to host you today. We're going to talk a little bit. I know disclaimer is that this is not you're not campaigning. We don't want anybody accusing you that you've been campaigning, but we want to just ask certain questions that we, the diaspora, have. And I'm hoping that you being on the ground, you'll be able to provide them in the process. But, pause for now. So let me go to Tikala. Ellen was saying something in regards to the pride that she carries. And whatever happens tomorrow, what is Malawi becoming? Tika.
Hello.
I just
You're
wanted
not coming
to
so
comment
clear.
before I go there about the lady to Malawi.
Tika,
I've been biased by saying that you get from women when women are so passionate and to an idea.
Right. 1 second, Tika.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you clear. Can you hear me?
Now, Malawi cannot hear you.
Wow.
Reverend Montali is not hearing you so well. You are breaking.
This one is.
Can you hear me from there?
Yes. Very 100%. Very well. Excellent.
Great. I hope I'll be hearing you people.
But when you speak, you're clear. We can hear you very clear.
Okay. So even if I don't hear you people, I'll be speaking and then you can be hearing. I hope so.
Let's hope so. So, okay. So, Tika, you may continue. Mrs. Chimpango, you're making a point about the Malawi that's becoming. Right. Okay. because of time, let me go to the point.
Can you hear me?
No, it's lagging again. Okay, so
can you hear me?
Yes.
No, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, can you hear me? All right. Okay. Yeah, I was saying I wanted to make just one point on the lady that has gone to Malawi, and I'm going to be biased as we're talking about women getting involved in politics. I want to say that's what you get from women. When women go to an idea, they will do anything, as this lady has displayed, buying a ticket that is worth £2,200 just to travel to Malawi to be part and parcel of the voting process tomorrow.
I like that. That's what you get from a passionate woman.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, woman.
Now, guys,
woman. Yes.
I know, listen, we can talk about this and we're going to scratch this bit more in the future. But for now, let me shift you to the current affairs. Chalo.
Yeah.
First of all, let me acknowledge that you guys in the diaspora have been so massive in terms of pushing for, the money that is supported, just have, talk us through a little bit in terms of the passion that's been there, for these elections and what the diaspora, the connection we have so far down on the ground in terms of, facilitating what's happening.
Yeah, it has been an interesting time, and since that court decision to nullify the elections that took place last year, I think a passion just went over the roof. Everybody else in the diaspora was looking forward to the day tomorrow, actually. And because of that, it's been very easy to try to get people to get involved in each and every initiative that we've tried to do. And everyone else has been looking forward to see change in Malawi. And because of that, we didn't need a lot of things to motivate people, because everyone else is tired of the DPP regime, and they want to see change, and they were prepared to do whatever they can. And when I say that, I mean even to make contributions of money or time or even availability. So it has been an easy time, to be honest, and the passion has been there, and it's been a great time, and we are looking forward for tomorrow.
Wonderful. So for me, to be honest, I've been impressed. I mean, thank God of my pastor is the fact that I am also involved in the activities of people, wanting the well wishes of Malawi, and just seeing that we are a team that's making things also being pushed on the ground. So, and that's where I really wanted you to come in to give us that view. I think at some point I saw a presentation of a check in Malawi for the monitors through your team.
Yeah, that was actually yesterday, and this is an initiative that was part of MCP Diaspora. And of course, we've been helped quite a lot by our Tonse Alliance partners. So members of MCP Diaspora contributed money, and that money was specifically contributed for the election monitoring after seeing what happened last year when elections were rigged. And we identified that the problem that we had was our monitoring system was not that great. And this time around, we saw it as an opportunity that why can't we correct the wrongs that were there last year? And because of that, we focused our energy on trying to raise money that will be meant for election monitors. The main point is to try to get as many monitors as we can, and also to make sure that in each and every part, every polling center has a monitor for Tonse Alliance. So people made pledges and they fulfilled their pledges. People contributed money monthly, and also we had some fundraising activities. That includes we had a virtual fundraising event that featured Timothy Ntambo, and we had another one that was organized by our colleagues in South Africa. That one featured Honorable Richard Chimwendo. And all those events, we made some money, and we donated that money officially yesterday when the party's Deputy Secretary General, who is also the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Gotan Hara, was there to receive the official presentation, and together with the Northern Region Chairperson of Malawi Congress Party, Honorable Gracious Soko. So it was a wonderful moment. We were represented in Malawi by our MCP diaspora representative, Mr. Dyson Chikolera, and everything went well. We've collected about 9.7 million Malawi kwacha. So we've contributed that money to the Tambala Fund. Tambala Fund is the fund that is managing all the finances for the election monitors for Malawi Congress Party, together with our Tonse Alliance. But as I've said, it has been an easy time in terms of trying to get people to buy into the idea. But at the same time, it has also been very challenging for the people in the diaspora, considering that most people have been affected by this COVID-19 pandemic. And some people have not been working, or maybe they've been furloughed. And because of that, they're not making as much money as they were making maybe a year ago. And but interesting thing is, people have sacrificed and they've contributed something, just showing how passionate they are about the affairs of Malawi. And in the end, we managed to make that much money, and we're very grateful to all that contributed. And as the diaspora, we feel we have made a contribution towards this election, and also helping our party together with our Tonse Alliance colleagues to make sure that as Dr. Chakwera will be winning tomorrow, we will stand up and say we played a role in making him to be the president of Malawi.
Excellent. You know what? It's encouraging to hear that the diaspora could come together to be able to engineer change on the ground. Well done to you guys, you and your team. It's amazing. I mean, I've known you personally in terms of your passion for this work on the ground. It's just so amazing. Having said something about monitors, what I want to say is I've got a chilling clip today. I've got some clips that I really want you guys to hear. That, you know, there have been some discoveries. Okay, one of the things we're doing is we're praying. We're praying for Malawi. As much as we know that we got to send monitors here, there. There were other things that we have done is God should reveal certain things that have been, you know, orchestrated, you know, to be able to manipulate our votes. Today, I mean, I'm telling you guys, I have clips that from Kota Salima, of the people that were in camouflage, you know, in the soldiers' attire, acting like they are coming for the, you know, for the protection, yet they're carrying ballot papers that had already been signed, like voted for. Yes. I mean, listen. So I wanted to say, the person I really wanted on this one was Reverend Morris, who seemed to have gone out, but I think we have him back. Let me bring him back. Oh, there we go. Okay, Reverend Morris, welcome back. Right, so we seem to be Reverend Morris. If you can hear me, you are back. Welcome back.
I already want to say something, but I am not getting you people 100% right. What do you want me to say now?
Okay, so what I was just saying right now is to do with the monitors on the ground. Monitors, people that are going to be looking over the ballot papers, you know, counting votes and everything, the monitors.
Yes. One thing I want to say outrightly is that the issue of monitors is a big challenge in this country, because one thing is very clear. We may not find people who are vigilant enough, even if we said we should hire those who are qualified, who are graduates and the like, but it all zeroes down to vigilance. How strong are people on the ground to make sure that they guard their vote, to make sure that they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing at the center. We probably should have invested a lot more in monitoring than anything else, because in the end, right now as we speak, we spoke about hiring professors, we spoke about having graduates on the ground, but you will hear in most cases and in most places that our monitors are below average, and that is very dangerous for us. However, what we have now done well is to ensure that Malawians are angry enough.
Okay.
I just want to say this very, very clearly. Okay. Malawians are angry, so it's not about now how qualified a monitor is. But I think people are going to these polls angry, and they will just want to guard their vote angrily. They will just want to protect Chakwera's vote angrily. And let's take the anger as part of what is going to help us this time around.
Having said about people being angry to protect their vote, listen to this. Today, I've got some chilling, CCTVs that have revealed, some people being attacked because they were trying to there are some fake ballot papers that have been printed apparently in Lilongwe somewhere, and I don't know whether you've seen this.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about this?
Yeah. Yes. I've seen that. And that is exactly why I am saying, let nobody cheat themselves that they are going to twist the minds of monitors.
Right.
Advantage of people wanting money. People are just angry, and that's why you have seen people beating up those that they suspect having carried votes that were already marked. Why we are saying this is they are tired. Malawians are literally tired of undergoing all these untold agonies, unprecedented torture. Actually, Malawi is sentenced to prison. We are serving a sentence, and yet we call ourselves being governed. We're not being governed. We are serving a jail term. And that's why Malawians are angry. Whoever is going to tamper with the people's choice, the people's vote, the people's rights, that one I think would be playing in wrong hands, because Malawi is literally angry. And we are going to tap on that potential. I mean, we're not condoning violence here. What we are condoning is theft, rigging. That's what we condemn.
And having said that, to be honest with you, I think anger is good if we channel it in the right way, isn't it?
That's it. If Chance, there will be no change if we don't hate the status quo. We must be angry with what we're going through now, and then tailor our anger in a manner that we are going to protect our vote without having to condone violence, but condemning rigging.
Very true. Because I tell you what, today, like I said, I was saying to the panel here that I've seen certain clips of people chanting angry about the people that they've captured, and they were saying to the police, just leave them to us, we want to burn them. Now I'm saying, please don't burn them. But that's the kind of anger that people carry now, because they're saying
imagine
is enough.
Now that we are going to ban them through the vote. The mere fact that those people have been found and they have been known, that is enough, because it has sent some shockwave somewhere. It's a warning to those who may be intending to do the same. Otherwise, we are carrying fire. We're going to burn them through the ballot. And definitely, that is how we're going to burn them.
Chalomvula, if I may bring you in, the diaspora has, if there was something that really rung in my ears, is the diaspora saying, let's do something so we can secure our vote. Is this not a bit chilling that it comes barely, before tomorrow we hear of some kind of rigging already trying to happen? Is it surprising to you?
It's not something that is surprising, to be honest, because knowing the nature of DPP, it was something that was expected. I think the whole idea of us trying to raise money for the monitors was the very fact that we knew that DPP is going to try to rig these elections. They've been in government through rigging. They've never won an election. Because if we go back, Dr. Chakwera won last year. He won even before that. But because of their rigging schemes, DPP have been in power. So we expected that they will try to attempt to rig even tomorrow's elections. So it's not surprising when I was seeing all those videos circulating on social media about people catching people trying to do some other things. It's not surprising. But the good thing is, like what Reverend Muntali has said, is like people are angry. So they've taken responsibility to be monitors. They are watching what is happening, and that will help a lot, because I expect that even tomorrow we'll have quite a lot of those kind of situations whereby citizens will be looking around to see who is trying to mess things up. And it's a very positive development, although I wouldn't support the idea of putting tires around them and burning them. But
okay, so I think that one we have interpreted that the way to burn them is to burn through the vote, not the physical fire. Tikala, Mrs. Chimpango.
Oh yeah.
Mrs. Chimpango, one thing I want, before Reverend Montali, before you come in, I want to bring in Mrs. Chimpango. I mean, the thought. So sorry, what are you saying?
Oh yeah, I was going to say, we have big lessons. Malawi has learned lessons previously, because this DPP regime is not the only regime that has tried to play around with people's minds, that has tried to play around with people's rights and choices. Right away from the time democracy was ushered into this country, regimes have tried to play around with it. This is not the first time MCP has been robbed of their vote and their chance to govern.
Right.
And that's why, taking it from where we have come from, and in addition to that, then somebody is adding salt on a septic wound.
Right.
I mean, you can justify the people's anger, and that's why we are saying enough is enough in this country.
Right. So, Tika, what I was, Mrs. Chimpango, that fact of when you see the clips, I mean, I don't know whether you've seen them, but I mean, this is more like, we know we have been able to put up one monitor, but it feels now that we have many monitors than one person, isn't it? Tikala.
Yes. I wanted to I think he has just to add my views on what Reverend Muntali has said. I think Malawi has reached a juncture where everybody is so angry with what has been happening to the country. Ellen made mention of the poverty that people have been going through in Malawi, and root of discontent in our nation is the poverty that we all see. That Malawi is not only for a few people. Malawi belongs to everybody. And in my whole life, because maybe I was young in 1994 when we ushered in Matipati. But ever since that time, this is the first time I've seen a lot of people and a backlash on the government. There's so many people, like for myself, I've been apolitical all these years. But there's just this stirring in my heart to do and to say something now, that we can't let things continue to happen the way they've been under our watch. We need to say something. We can't keep silent. And as I said, the poverty that is in Malawi, you ask yourself, in this century, should people really go to the hospital and they are not treated? So these are the issues that are making us to stand up and to start talking and to start having conversations about our country. And all this is due to, I would say, maybe three things: corruption and the inability of the government to provide basic public services to the people, but also the inavailability of an environment where people can harness and utilize their potential. I'm talking about talents, gifts, and to thrive in an environment where people are able to do that, and not only a few people. So these are the issues that are making us to take a stand and say enough is enough. And all of us, I believe, we are having what I call Jesus in the temple moment, where when Jesus went to the temple, he was so angry at what people had turned the temple into. And he got so angry and said, enough. And this is the point where we are Malawians. Enough is enough. We demand accountability and transparency from those people that we elect into positions. Because those that have been elected, they are elected to save us and not to save themselves. So we as Malawians, we are saying enough is enough. Where the leaders become our
Amen to
bosses.
that.
Wow. Listen, I was about to, I thought I was in church. I should say, preach on, sister. Now.
Yes, I was going to say amen too. Amen.
Okay.
No, actually, my sister there was preaching, actually.
Ellen, our lady Ellen, what do you have to say about this? Come on. I mean, we're talking about, this is not just one monitor on the ground. It looks like now the whole team has just carried themselves and said, we're going to monitor this together.
Yes, like Reverend Muntali says, that people are angry, so they're safeguarding the vote angrily. And like Chika has said, that enough is enough. People are talking, people are having this conversation because enough is enough. You can't expect people to go to the hospital and they don't have any medicine, they don't have any money to get treatment. That's a basic need. So Malawi as a country has been a signatory to two international treaties, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and also the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. Right? So it's a basic need. These charters, these international agreements that Malawi has been a signatory to, implies that Malawi is obliged to provide development, sustainable development to its people. Now, you tell me, in this day and age, if Malawi is a signatory to these two international treaties, where is the justice in people in this day and age still not being able to attain medical treatment? People still living in grass-thatched roof houses. I went to Malawi a few years back and I went to visit a family. They had a shack for a house. Yeah. Now, that same shack, just one room was the bedroom. That's the living room. That's where the children were. I was chatting to them in there. And they have bathrooms outside, toilets outside. And when it rains, you tell me what happens to those people. And they're the same people we're asking to go and vote. So Tika is talking about accountability. Yes, we demand accountability. We can't enforce these rights because we can't. There's no court for us to take them to take the government to task. But we can claim back our power through the vote. If we vote for this change, I believe that Malawi will experience sustainable development, and a lot of things are going to change for a lot of people, and not just the select few, the 7% who are juggling the economy amongst themselves and thinking everybody else, they're only important when it comes to campaign time. You give them plastic cups, plastic plates, and fertilizer. We were reducing the prices here, dangling carrots in front of these people who live the rest of the 5 years in poverty. They're dying because they have no access to medical facilities, no money, not even sugar for tea. And we're talking about 3 meals a day. Should that really be an issue? I would have thought everybody has 3 meals a day or more. Why are
There
people
you
not
go.
having peace today?
Mm-hmm.
So angry, yes, Pastor
Yeah.
Mutali, yes, people, the monitors we are sponsored, like Chalombula said, the money is not even enough to sponsor those monitors. But I believe that with God on our side, there shall be a revelation of any plans to try and frustrate this process tomorrow. It shouldn't happen anymore. Yes, Pastor Mutali, we
Right.
are angry.
Right.
It's time, Tika, it is
Thank you.
time. Enough is enough.
I'm
Enough is
excited.
enough.
I'm
Want to say that
laughing.
again.
I'm enjoying it because from the women, I like how the vibe just comes out like that. The fire is just too much from there. but this just corresponds with our, you know what? Somebody sent Ellen, somebody just sent to me and said, Pastor, continue to pray. You know,
Yeah.
Reverend Mentali, we are conducting prayers. In the next 40 minutes or 50 minutes, we should switch to prayers. Okay, I'm going to have to let you guys go in the next, because we're going to carry on to talk about this. But you know, somebody just sent like this, it says, continue to pray. I mean, she sent me the clips of what is happening on the ground, you know, and she says, Pastor, continue to pray. And I said, this just shows the God we're talking about, because one of the prayers we've been praying is, God, expose any kind of rigging, and I mean, you know, however God wants to do it, let it happen. I'm praying for those people that when they are captured, they are left alive, so they can explain it, because there are names that have come out there, the likes of, you know, maybe let me not mention their names, but we have the names that these are old guards, you know, the old soldiers that were retired. They've been picked to just do some stupid things on the ground. So you know, I just love this, the vibe that even is coming from here. I mean, hours of the view. Have we really done enough? That's where I went to you, Chalo, to say, looking at what we have invested, you know, looking at how we've come together. We've said, guys, please, do you think we did enough? You know?
Yeah. No, and Chance, if I can come in there.
Go ahead.
One of the things that Malawians have been energized with is the fact that our the torchbearer for the Tonse Alliance, is a man of God.
Mm.
Elections are about having to transfer, to get out of a problem and get some relief. And that's why this time around, instead of the voter apathy going up, we now have everybody geared up to vote. But coming to prayer, people have the hope in Chakwera as a torchbearer because he's a man of God. He is the prayer for himself. And he has always supported prayer. And he has believed that we have solutions in prayer. Solutions not only to guard against any of the things we are mentioning, but also solution because he will offer better leadership. So prayer, very, very important. I mean, we can be miles and miles apart with you people. But because you kneel down wherever you are,
yes.
And Malawi has knelt down, the people have cried to God. There's nobody who can tamper with this vote because people have spoken to God directly, and God has come to intervene, and God is going to fight this battle because of what you are saying.
I am encouraged. Yeah. We are encouraged. You know, these clips, as much as they send chills in our spine to say, wow, how, you know, it's, and Charles, I don't know whether you know this, but some people are being given literally 30,000 kwacha. I mean, when you convert it into pounds, 25 pounds for somebody to die. I mean, they know people are angry. For sure, people are angry. How does, you know, I wish I had someone from the regime of the, you know, the other party, you know, because that's the allegation. They're the ones who are financing this. You know, I really wish I had them on here, because I do know that maybe they will think they are too big for this. But the reality is, you can't try and manipulate this no more. I mean, it's insane.
No,
you know, in the likes of the people that have been mentioned have the capacity to finance or even just manipulate. You remember yesterday when we were praying, we prayed against the spirit of manipulation. People get manipulated so easily because they're in poverty. You know, poverty lines have made other people just to give in and so. And sometimes, listen to this. This is where I'm praying that Malawians, when you catch these people, please don't kill them. No, asungeni, lock them up if we have to, but let's get the truth out of them. There are people that have just suffered because they want money, they want a living. Now, not that they want Mutarika, no, but they want a living. I mean, that's just
it's a very sad situation. It's a very sad situation to see that some politicians are paying money to poor people to do that sort of thing, because it just shows that those politicians really doesn't care for poor Malawians, because they know the danger that they are putting those people into. They know those people might get caught, might get killed, but all they are doing is just to protect themselves, just to make sure that they should still be in government. They know that they've done quite a lot of damage in the government. The level of corruption that has happened during the time of DPP and UDF in power is something that is really, really, really bad. And they are trying, it's like clinging on, because they know that the moment they are out of power, Dr. Chakwera has promised this, that we will try to investigate some of these corrupt cases that have happened in the past. Dr. Chirima has been talking about this in the rallies that he's been addressing. And these people are panicking, but they've run out of time, unfortunately, because tomorrow, that's their last day and we are coming after them. We have to sort out the country. We can't be living into a country that is corrupted like we have been. You know, looting of public finances is just too much. So it's unfortunate that politicians are trying to use poor people for their own advantage and to protect themselves from the bad things that they've done while they were in power.
I totally agree with you, and I know that, you know, this is probably, I should say, the mutual view of every individual, isn't it? I mean, in terms of all of us here, we could say, people can say probably we're biased on this broadcast today. But listen, which Malawian is happy with the way things are? You know, I think that's the question that we need to pose and think about. Before we can point fingers and say, you guys are probably just talking about the Tonse Alliance. No. Who is happy with the state of our nation? Helen, do you want to say something about this?
Yes, I do want to say something. It will only be a few people who are happy with the status quo. Yeah. Only those who are benefiting from this corrupt setup will tell you everything is hunky-dory over here. What are you talking about? But you and I know we're in so many forums together in the diaspora where people have come together, not just with Tonse Alliance members and supporters, but we've all come together and said, look, the status of things in Malawi is not right, because we all have relatives in Malawi in the villages. I'm not talking about the family in the cities. We're talking about people in the villages, the people, the 90% who go and vote for the people, for the politicians. They're the people we should worry about, not us, not people in the cities. We should worry about the electorate. Now, I just wanted to mention something, Pastor Chance, if you'll allow me. The African Charter on Peoples and Human Rights is another international agreement which Malawi is a signatory to. What this charter simply says is it tells you about the rights of people, etc., but it imposes a duty. This is the only regional charter. Europe has its charter. All other regions in the world have their own charter. America has its own charters, but this particular charter for Africa imposes a duty on all the African people to look after their own people. So in say in the UK, you have a welfare government, a nanny state, which looks after everybody. If you're disabled, if you're sick, if you are out of work, you get something from the government to sustain you. There's a minimum standard of sustenance that comes from the government. That is not so for African countries like Malawi. So we need a standard, a basic standard of welfare. Yes, we all have a duty imposed by the African Charter on Peoples and Human Rights to say, okay, if you have the elderly, the disabled, or the sick in your family nucleus, it's your duty to look after your parents, your grandparents, and the people who are vulnerable and less fortunate than yourself. Yes, we have that duty, but we need the government to set a minimum of welfare to provide to its most vulnerable members of its community, the elderly, the disabled, the poor. We need to have that standard. And Malawi has been a signatory to all these international instruments I'm talking about, but nothing, we don't see much by way of it. Only perhaps a few people benefit from it. But I do believe that in this new government coming in, that's my faith talking now. I believe that it will look at people, the most vulnerable people of our society, will have a look in. And the government, well, it's my plea, it's my humble plea that they will look at the most vulnerable members of our society and provide for them. Because we may not afford a welfare state like they do in the Western world. But we surely have enough money. If people can plunder all that money to do whatever they're doing, sending their children abroad to schools and going to hospitals in India when people have no hospitals, not even paracetamol, Panadol in the hospital, surely that money can provide for the most vulnerable members of our society.
Yeah, I listen loud and clear. We heard you, and we agree with you. It's a shame that when you think of those lines, it breaks the heart. You know, that the basic things, like the things that you just said there, that where Malawi is a signatory to, but it doesn't provide for its people. And this is really a thing that needs to be looked into, like you've just said. I think it's a good plea to the government. I mean, Reverend Morris, you're not only just a believer in MCP, but you are actively, you are the publicity secretary, if I'm right, isn't it?
Yes.
The plea from Lady Ellen, what's the promise that should we be optimistic? Malawi Congress, Tose Alliance, shall we be optimistic that these are basic things United Kingdom has provided? We enjoy this. Malawi is just a signatory to certain things that they said we're going to provide, yet we don't have it. Shall we be optimistic of your people and the leadership of Chakwera to provide this?
Yes. Yeah. One thing I can quickly mention here is that we have pillars that we promise people on, and those pillars have been reiterated by Dr. Chakwera several times. And one of the pillars that we stand on as we promise people a better Malawi is that everybody must be under the law, rule of law. And that is what Ellen was saying there. We are signatories to charters, and we're not an island in terms of the legal signatories that we are part of. So in Malawi, the problem is we have leaders that we put into power, and then they become bosses, and then they feel that they're above the law, and they feel that they can tamper with people's rights and freedoms, and that they cannot be answerable. And that's why I can say, yes, let's be optimistic with the government that is coming, hands of the people, uniting this country, prospering this country without having to go into regions and tribes, ending corruption, and then making sure that Malawi is governed by the law, including the charters that Ellen is mentioning.
Well, if we can be of real if we can see the change, developing. And one of the things I was saying, Ellen, I think it was whether it was on Friday. One of the things I said was, let's give them a chance to be able, whoever comes into power. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again. Maybe I shouldn't have made it that biased today. And for people, can I say, pause? Can I ask you, if you have a question, I'm going to bring it so these people can be able to answer. But what I wanted to say is, I'm going to be a little bit biased in the sense that to learn that the current regime is trying to finance, and I'm saying that we might say these are just allegations, but people have recorded videos I have on my phone of people caught that have said we've been sent by so and so, people in government. And so what I'm saying is, if you remember, Ellen, on Friday we said something like this. We said, let's give them a chance. They're not going to build this. We're not going to have butter and bread bang on, come Friday next week. What do you have to add in terms of how can we anticipate? How can we be so sure that can we be I want you to be able to to kind of like kusindi that. How can we be certain this change is certain to come?
Well, no one can foretell the future. We can't be 100% certain about the future. But as for now, the place where we are at now, it is what it is. We are where we are. People have given this government a chance, 2 terms, 3 terms, however many terms they've had, and they haven't delivered. If they have delivered, it's only to that select few that I've been talking about, the 7%, the 10%. Malawi is a big country, 18 million people. They need to deliver to the 18 million people. And so because we have tried the rest, it's now time to try something else. Because whatever we've tried, the chances we've given to this government have not delivered, not to everybody anyway. So we can be safe to say that if this hasn't worked, surely we must try something else if we're going to get a different result. Because if we keep on with this same foolishness, then the results will be the same. People being killed, people with albinism being killed, people in hospital, no medicine, electricity, load shedding, not enough water, no clean water. That foolishness will carry on. So it's time to try something else. And that's why Dr. Chakwera, Dr. Chilima, and all these 9 presidents of these other parties have come together to unite against what's been happening in these last few years. Now, the very fact that they're talking about it, talking against corruption, talking about against the killings of these innocent people, talking about all these bad things that are happening in Malawi, for me, I can give them my vote because they're openly standing and condemning things that are ruining our country. So on that basis, yes, I can say let's give them a chance. We all want to be doing very well just by next week. But if we give them a chance to reach out for the MPs to go back to the constituencies, I'm sure they know what the problems are with the constituents. Lack of clean water, housing, food, clean. They'll come back to Parliament and present the pleas for the people, and then they can be financed to go and reach the people in their constituencies. So we'll give them a chance. 5 years seems like a long time, but it's not. But at least within 3 years, the short-term goals and long-term goals, we should be able to see where we're going. But surely this is not it. Whatever we've been living through, that's not it.
Take out.
And if I can add on that as well.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, Charlie. Go ahead.
Yeah, the change that is coming tomorrow, because we are definitely changing tomorrow. Yes, there
Please
is.
assure me. Please assure the people it's definite.
It's definite, yeah. But the thing is, we want leadership. The problem is, Mutharika has proved not to be a leader. Here is a leader who's probably just been sitting there, leaving other people to make decisions on his behalf, decisions that have led to nothing but disaster. You know, the change that is coming tomorrow will be change for people with albinism. You know, there's been a lot of albino killings, but what has Mutharika government done?
Yeah.
Nothing, just promises and promises and promises, no prosecution. And also, we want investigations on things like, you know, the death of Blair Lule. You know, we need to dig those things and try to help people to come to the very foundations of what really happened, you know, not to be covering some other issues. And that has been the what the DPP government has been doing. It's like covering up all the time. You know, we want a new government. Obviously, Dr. Chakwera, when he comes, he has been talking about this in most of his speeches about bringing Malawi together. You know, the whole concept of Malawi Okomela Tonse. It's about everyone being treated as a Malawian. And here I'm talking about the nepotism that DPP government has brought to Malawi. You know, jobs being given to people from just a certain tribe. That is not the Malawi that we want. That is not the Malawi that Kamuzu left. It's UDF that promoted tribalism. It's DPP that promoted tribalism. And that is ending tomorrow because Dr. Chakwera is talking about bringing unity, Malawi that benefits all of us. We are talking of a corrupt-free Malawi. You know, Dr. Chakwera, it's one of the issues in his super high five that ending corruption. You know, we need to set up the economic. The economy of Malawi has been affected largely because of the corruption that has been happening in the country, and we need to reset that. And also issues about the quota system. You know, abolishing all that quota things. People should attain things based on merit. Not because you're just putting up some goalposts so that some other people can benefit more than others. You know, so there is definitely change that is coming from tomorrow. And we have a leader that is here to bring that change, a leader that is God-fearing, a leader that has Malawians at heart, and a leader that together with Dr. Saulos Chilima will deliver something for Malawi. And I have got strong belief that the combination of Dr. Chilima and Dr. Lazarus Chakwera is the best combination Malawi has ever had, because these people, they are very talented in their areas. They complement well, and they are all geared up at developing Malawi in all areas. So really, I can see a better Malawi in the next 5 years.
Reverend Morris, one of the things that probably is a blessing to you is how, you know, the aspect of not only just 2 parties but 9 parties coming together. This is history, isn't it? It's never ever happened anywhere.
Never happened and in the history of Malawi. That is one sign that we are dealing with a real leader here. Somebody who is able to bring together all the other leaders until all the other leaders can say, we have our colleague in whom we can all say, hello? Are you hearing me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. All right. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay. Now I'm saying, if here is somebody who can convince all these other leaders of all these parties to come together and say to them all, let us prioritize Malawi rather than having to see what it is that as individuals we can gain in the government. So here is a president who is saying, let us all look at the common problem. Let us all look at a national agenda. Let's all humble ourselves for the sake of Malawi. So here is a leader that has already portrayed leadership skills. And if that is what Chakwera can do, let me also then take this advantage and opportunity to say thank you, Dr. Saulos Klaus Chilima, because Chilima could as well have been president. But here is Chilima who is saying, no, I think if we have to have one president, and that is what it means, then let me humble myself, let Chakwera lead us. Malawians must know that we are not only talking about 9 parties here, and then number 10, Timothy Mtambo, and all these others supporting. We are saying everybody, including those in DPP, must know that their time to enjoy a better Malawi has come. We know that wherever they are, when they are seeing 9 parties coming together, and 9 parties being led by Dr. Chakwera, they also know that these people are going to bring a better Malawi. Maybe because they cannot say it openly, but we know that they know that a better Malawi is coming tomorrow. And that change is also going to benefit everybody else. Because the Chakwera and the Chilima pair is not there for themselves as portrayed in the 9 parties. The Chakwera and the Chilima pair is there for everybody else, including the DPP. And that's why, as somebody said, we are talking of, we're not being biased here. We are only talking real things. DPP regime has failed. But we have to forgive those people that are following Peter Mutharika now, that are following the DPP leadership. Maybe they are there because of some other thing that they're benefiting. Maybe they are there because of money. Maybe they are there because they are afraid that when they run away from there, they're going to be after them because DPP can kill anyway. But they must rest assured that Chakwera and Chilima are carrying a big team that is there to change Malawi for the better.
Well, I want to shift, and okay, on that note, I want to shift to this discussion that we kind of like tackled a little bit last week, and this one, Tika, before I can maybe ask you to, I know you have spoken a while, but can I ask you, is the man in now? Is he in? Has he come home? Because you were saying he's on his way or something, like he's tied up. Is he in now? Dr. Chimpango? No. Okay, fine, right. I want to bring one of the things that I really would love probably to ask Reverend Morris later is this. Before I bring you in to say something, Reverend, let me ask Ellen. Okay, if you've just joined us, because I tell you what, I'm failing to come off because the numbers keep popping up of the people that are watching now. Last week, Ellen, okay, by the way, for those of you that don't know Ellen, she's a qualified barrister, someone who has been, who's qualified even in the immigration law and knows much about law. Last week I asked you something and I said, can you clarify that, the government, the distinction between the judiciary and, being the government's arm, but then, that it's being independent. Can you clarify? Can you educate us in that sense, Ellen?
Okay. Oh, all right. I'll try. So
yeah, just a little bit.
Okay. So in layman's terms, I'll say this: there's a concept in constitutional law. Constitutional law deals with how you run a country, the constitution, and the basics. Now, in constitutional law, we have a principle called separation of powers. And in that separation of powers, you have 3 branches of government. So the first branch, in no particular order, you have the legislature, which is all your MPs who make laws in parliament. And then you have the judiciary. The judiciary have the role of interpreting the laws that are made by parliament. And also sometimes the judiciary will make judge-made law, which is called precedent. Now, the third arm of branch, the third arm is the executive, which is the president, his cabinet, and they are responsible for the day-to-day running of government, making policies, so he's the commander-in-chief of the army, the police, and so the day-to-day running of the government is vested in the executive. Right. Now, this principle of separation of powers is there because you need to divide and share power equally amongst the three branches to avoid a concentration of too much power in one arm of the government. And it's also to provide a system of checks and balances so that if one branch is overstepping the mark or abusing power, the other branch can check and balance the power. So no concentration of power to avoid abuse of power. And also it is to avoid having too much say in one branch of government. So the question you asked me about the judiciary, and I'll go back to it, it's called judicial independence. It simply states that the judiciary must be free from political influence, that judges must be free to decide on cases honestly and impartially without taking sides, and also in accordance with the law and evidence presented in each case. Each case turns on its facts. So judges must decide based on the evidence and the facts without fear of interference or improper influence from politicians or private lobbies. That is what the principle of separation of powers says, and judicial independence.
Wow.
Is that what we're looking for?
Very, very clear. You should listen. I know now that you've spoken about being a lecturer of law. It's amazing. I feel I'm in class right now. Tika, don't you think so? I mean, the way she was explaining. I know your husband is also a practicing lawyer, Dr. Chimpango. But here what Ellen is saying is as if I'm in class. I was really enjoying this. I feel like we could go on all night you talking about this. It just makes sense in all that you've put together to talk about the government and the independence of these systems that work under the government. But then, okay, having said about the freedoms and the independence, and guys, we do only have about 10 minutes. Let's round this up. But having said about the freedoms that you've spoken about, we have seen that, these guys have been stepped over unknowingly. Can I be honest? The man I loved, I still hold him dear in my heart, is General Nundwe, a man who stood up for the citizens of Malawi. You remember when there were demonstrations? Reverend Morris, may I task you with your government, if you tomorrow God brings you into power, may I ask you to do the right things? There are certain people that didn't do wrong. All of a sudden they have been dumped because there's been agendas. Can you promise us that, people that were, discarded for no reason whatsoever, you guys are going to consider them? Reverend Morris.
And everybody who's listening here, that the reason this regime in particular is because they have no regard.
Pastor Chance, we didn't hear what you said. You were breaking off.
Is putting it. Hello, can somebody hear me?
Yes. Now, Reverend Morris, before you come in, apparently they didn't hear what I said. So let me say it again. Can you hear me now, Ellen? Right. So let me explain again. I said one of the people that really has impressed, in the entire demonstrations and everything that was happening on the ground is General Nundwe. The man who has been, ousted by some kind of regime because they just wanted to manipulate the system. Ellen, you spoke about independence of these arms of government, but I have not seen it. The judiciary was tampered with. The MDF was tampered with. I'm crying of this guy who was so humble, serving Malawians, protecting the citizens, but fired out just because he did not bow to the needs and demands of the regime. So my question and plea to Reverend Morris, and if God permits you to come into power, would you promise us that the people that were kicked out for no apparent reason can be brought in because they never did anything wrong? The likes of Nundwe.
Yes, we have to salute what Nundwe did to Malawians. And Nundwe will always be remembered to be somebody who is not only humble, but very passionate. Somebody who is a patriot, somebody who loves his country, somebody who wanted to safeguard the law and the constitution. He will be remembered. The reason why we are fighting this regime is because they have no regard to the separation of powers. And all they want to do is to manipulate the structures, institutions, and then they have to do all as they please. President Peter Mutharika has all along tried hard to get rid of those people that he feels and thinks are working against him. And yet, they are the people who revere the Constitution, respect the Constitution, and they love Malawi, they love Malawians. So, yes, I want to assure you that when we come in, we're going to dig deep into those issues. Some people have suffered in this country innocently, and we don't want to keep them suffering like that. We will have to bring them. In fact, we're not going to only just bring those people back, but we also have to bring to book those people who have made other people suffer in this country. I can assure you, we have a government that is going to be fair for all, but let the arm of the law catch everybody else who has trampled upon the rights of people, who have made people suffer for nothing. That we will do.
Thank you very much. I will hold you accountable in 3 months' time. But before I can before I can make you come back and say something to everyone here, and you know, I'm going to say that again. I'm going to sound it again. You know, it's something you can tell I have a passion for this. There are people you feel they didn't deserve this. You know, I can go on and on and on. Some I'm gonna keep them for now. But last word, Tikale. You know, last word in whatever you want to just address, Mrs. Chimpango. You know, what is it that you want to say before we kick out of here? Tikale.
Right. My final words, I think, to the government that's coming is for leaders. I think, as we've said, I think as Malawians, we are tired of the status quo. And this is not only for the president, but also even for members of parliament, that we elect people into positions to save the citizens. And this is something that all leaders should always know, that they are there because of service. Leadership is about commitment to those that are under your charge and not vice versa. So the first responsibility of a leader is to save people. So we really need now to see leaders in Malawi, in government, who are willing to sacrifice their needs for the sake of the citizens. People who will say, if teachers are not being paid, then they'll also say, we are also not getting paid. So we want our leaders to eat last. As Ellen has already said, we want our hospitals to be staffed. There should be medicine available. When people are sick, they should be able to go to the hospital and get basic medicine. We want our roads developed. We want an environment where entrepreneurs are able to get and access loans and start businesses so that they are able to employ and also to complement the efforts that the government is doing in terms of employing the citizens of the country. So those are my words to the government that's coming, that we want a government that is ready and willing to commit to people and to save people and not themselves. We are tired of leaders who've been self-serving and they don't bother about what is happening to the women that sell mbatata on the way in Nchewu, in Lusulu. We are really tired of leaders who are self-serving. We want leaders who are accountable, transparent, who can stand and say, this is what I'm going to do, and they do what they have promised us. So Reverend Muntari, you've got a task ahead of you. will not leave you. We'll still be coming to you and asking you to give us reports of what you're doing, because you've come to us and you're asking us to vote for you. So we'll hold you accountable to the promises that you've made to us.
Thank you. Mr. Mvula, final word.
Yeah, what I can say is what the Mumu Alliance is doing, the Muluzi family and the Mutalika family is doing is an insult to Malawians, really, because Malawi is not only for two families. We are making sure that we are ending that tomorrow, because the presidency can not only just be going to Mutarika family and Muluzi family, and these are people that have got bad records of what they've done in government, the corruption that they've done, and they don't guarantee anything else positive for Malawians. But we want change. We want our country to develop. What I can urge Malawians is tomorrow is a very big day, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to have a leader like Dr. Lazarus Chakwera and Dr. Saulos Chilima standing on one ticket. That is a blessing to Malawi. You know, when Dr. Chakwera left the church ministry, and when he said that God had asked him to get involved in politics.
We've lost Charlie.
Yeah.
Ellen, can you hear me? Lost the broadcast.
I can hear Chalo.
Have we lost some of our colleagues?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Chalo.
Hear you from Malawi.
All right, I can just finish up to say Dr. Saulos Chilima and Dr. Lazarus Chakwera are making a promise to the young people, creation of 1 million jobs in the first year. This is something that we should look forward to. Businesses for women, you know, things like pension that will be paid to people over 65 years old. It's a Malawi that we will look forward to. And as people go to vote tomorrow, I will encourage them to vote for Dr. Lazarus Chakwera and Dr. Saulos Chilima for a better Malawi.
Amen. Pastor Chance?
Hello? I may soon lose you. Can I quickly say something before I lose you people?
Yes, they are.
May I say something before I exit?
Don't worry.
Hello?
Go ahead, Reverend Montali.
Yes, I want to say thank you to Dr. Lazarus Chakwera and Dr. Chilima for coming with the case before the court. And I also want to thank the judges at the Constitutional Court and Supreme Court. We want to thank our lawyers who fought hard and the witnesses that were in court. Now the court said we have to vote again, and we are voting again tomorrow. I just want to ask all Malawians that judges have done their part. Our lawyers have done their part. Chakwera and Chilima have done their part. Everybody else have done their part. Now it is up to all Malawians to vote. And every vote from every Malawian will count until we see a new Malawi. A new Malawi that is going to be fair for everybody else. And
Amen.
This is the Malawi that we want.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
We seem to have lost Pastor Chan.
You finish off then, Ellen.
Okay. Reverend Montali, I would like to say a very big thank you for joining us this evening all the way from Malawi. It is an honor to have you. I'm speaking on behalf of Pastor Chance, but I think Pastor Chance will come. Thank you. And we wish you all the best tomorrow.
I can just say if I can quote the Bible, the Egyptians you see today, you will see no more, because we are going to have Armageddon soon.
Yes, and you're living on the right side of the history of Malawi, Dr. Chakwera, Dr. Chidima, yourself, everyone. We're just so super proud of you. You're on the right side of the history of Malawi.
Amen.
Well, the chance is back.
Yes. Thank you very much, Reverend.
Yeah.
The Lord bless you so much. Thank you. And you know, you are my father, I should say. Muntali, you know. When I come down to Malawi, I've followed your footsteps. I've followed my father's footsteps into politics. In fact,
I am proud of you and you all, and God bless you, my children.
Thank you so much. We love you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Ellen,
you so much.
Ellen, last word.
Okay.
Last word, Ellen.
Or simply to wish Dr. Lazarus Chakwera all the best. We subscribe to the Super High Five agenda, and we have hope and trust that Malawi will never be the same again. And to Tonte Alliance, all the Destiny helpers who are working together with Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, we believe in you, and we are praying for you that tomorrow will be a new beginning for Malawi. So all the best tomorrow.
Amen.
Before we go, let me say my last word. Thank you to Reverend Morris. Thank you to Chalom Vula. Thank you to Madam Chimpango. Thank you to Ellen. And to Dr. Chimpango in absentia, because he was busy. I mean, something just came up. He texted me. Can I sound this as one last voice to everybody listening to me right now? It's a shame we didn't have the arm of the government who is current now. In fact, there is no government by now, surely. I mean, I don't understand how that to the very last day we're going to the polls, we still are taken about, we still have the government. Probably this is one of the things that needs to be corrected. There are so many things that needs to be corrected. By now, probably there should have been a dissolved government. These people should not, you know, that's why they're able to manipulate the way things are beginning to happen right now. But what I want to just say, it's a shame, you know, for this current government, for the things that we're hearing. And I am saying this is probably away from the discussions that we've done. It is not right. Do not try and twist the arm of the people again. And because what you're doing is costing many lives already. And may I plead with the authorities and the people that probably have received money. You must know there's a church that's praying, and this is not a denomination, but the Church of Jesus Christ. We're praying for fair election. We're praying that our vote is not manipulated again. I can guarantee you, no one is leaving untouched if you touch the elections in a way that you want us to manipulate. We're asking you, let's do it the right way. You know, so we thank God for, you know, especially also let me sound this on behalf of Charlo, who is the communications director of MCP, the Tonse Alliance. My friends, probably this is one of the things I would say, apologies if I didn't contact the Tonse guys, but I would have loved them to just come up so I can say thank you for your commitment to just come together and want to initiate that which must happen on the ground. If monitors are going to be effective, you diaspora, I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of all those well wishers of Malawians on the ground as well. There are people that are giving out millions because they just want to see a true Malawi. We are on the verge of something big, and we cannot abort it right now. Hence, for those of you that are catching the perpetrators, go ahead and do that. Please don't burn them alive. Please keep them alive so we can hear from their mouths. Because if you kill them, we have no evidence. So keep them alive so we can be able to hold them, those big, whoever is financing this, you are not escaping this. Trust me. You will not escape this. But because see, we cannot talk about this, we cannot pray about this, and then God stays aloof. No, I believe that God is helping us in catching the thieves And hence we know anywhere you are, the Holy Ghost will show us and we will catch you there. Because tomorrow it's gonna be fair and it's gonna be free. So nobody tampers with this. And this is my word to everybody. Your love for Malawi stands tonight. Listen, we have just a few hours where we declare victory. And I want you to stand up.
Amen.
In the next 5 minutes, I'll be introducing the speaker tonight. I'll have to kick out you guys and we have to end the broadcast. But thank you so much for having a good time. Ellen, thank you that you could just come explain to us about these things and we could just have this wonderful time. I wish we could come again. Tika, I don't know why I chose you, but hey, boy, I just love you, girl. I thank you that you and your, I don't know why Dr. Jipango is not joining, but you keep joining this. I'm more than happy to have you again so we can discuss this thing. It's just beautiful. To my director, God bless you that you and your team are putting a wonderful charge. We're working together to make things happen. Chalo, I'm proud of you, man. Listen, this is to everyone that is working hard, recognized or unrecognized. There are certain heroes, Reverend Montali, there are certain heroes you don't know. But there are people that are doing their best to make sure that the elections on the ground are happening. And we want you guys to know, you know, Reverend Montali and your team, you have a backup that is solid. We're also tired just like you are. Na pesa tatopa tufuna tisimela kumuziko tizadi nguku kunyumba kwanu kumantendere ose kuno kuti nusimulira kumatu muka na gula tu mapaundi mukubweresa mutigulire ine muzina kuti mapaundi yako osunga we gonna feed you. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys. We can talk all night. Inte.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
God bless you. Guys,
Thanks for having us.
much.
Thank you.
All the best tomorrow.
Bless you.
Mutari.
Thank you, guys. Tuona and answer. We shall see you.
Thank you.
Kuseli. God bless you so much.
Thanks for having us.
All right. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having us indeed.
You're welcome.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Night. Night.
I want to say to you that if you join in tonight, let me meet you on the other side. God bless you so much. We gotta have to go. The Lord bless you for joining in. Join us in 5 minutes. I'll be bringing the man of God, Bishop Chiwaka, Pastor Chiwaka from All Nations Church in Leeds, where we're gonna be praying for the nation. Please stay tuned. Please stay tuned. So I'll cut this off, but I'll be back again in 2 minutes. Thank you so much for being with us. I'll see you again next week. Or maybe this coming Friday, I should say. God bless you. Bye-bye.